that's a street light, not the sun.
Hi, it's July 19th, 2019, and I'm doing a Friday Reads. It's been a while since I've checked in with you, and it's been a while since I've really watched a lot of videos. I am trying to catch up, having just taken some time away from watching BookTube for the most part, and I went on an impromptu road trip with my mom and my grandmother. We drove to the southern part of Washington to visit an aunt and uncle, and we had such a great time. Wasn't expecting to go on the trip, and then we decided to go, and it was really fun. So that's kind of what I've been up to, along with doing some actual work projects. And so I haven't caught up on a lot of YouTube or BookTube, and I have been reading sporadically, but I am not making much progress in finishing any actual books. But I have finished a few before I went on this trip, and I thought I'd tell you what they were and what I'm currently reading, and then I will let you go because it's a hot Friday afternoon, and I'm sure you have something fun planned for the weekend. So, the first book that I read and I really want to recommend is Fleishman is in Trouble by Taffy Brodesser-Akner. And this is a novel about a bitter divorce, and the first part of the novel is pretty much from the perspective of the husband. His name is Toby Fleishman. He's a physician, and he is trying to take care of his two children when his estranged wife kind of walks off the grid and leaves him and won't tell him where she is, and he knows she's safe, or he knows that she's, nothing bad's happened to her, but she won't contact him. And so we see the whole history of their marriage through the eyes of one of his best friends, and we really are meant to root for Toby in this first section. And in similar novels about relationships, then we see the camera moves back in the subsequent chapters, and we get to see different perspectives of the same relationship. And the book is really actually a commentary on gender and the expectations of women in society and in marriage. So if you start reading it, you don't like that perspective, please keep reading. Don't just give up halfway through, because I think the novel broadens into something that's really quite valuable and interesting. And it's funny and pretty raunchy too, so there's a lot going for it for a kind of a summer novel. I finished the number 6 Armand Gamache detective series novel called Bury Your Dead. This one was very fraught with emotion, and Armand is in a bad situation trying to recover from a terrible incident. And there was a lot of history woven into this one about the city of Quebec and its founding and what happened to its founder. So this was a really good installation of the series. Every book that I read just seems to kind of broaden and deepen my interest in the characters that are part of the series. I finished a book of essays about television by the New Yorker critic Emily Nussbaum, and it's called I Like to Watch, and a lot of them, it's a collection of columns that she wrote for the New Yorker. But then there are also a couple of original essays that were written for the book, and I can highly recommend, if you can get a copy or read this essay. It's called Confessions of a Human Shield, and it's about how we deal with the art of bad men, men who turn out to have been terrible people, but who have made art that has somehow influenced our culture, and probably that's part of why our culture is bad sometimes. But it's a really interesting exploration of Emily Nussbaum's history of, for instance, watching Woody Allen movies when she's young and defending him, and then seeing how that all unfolds. And then there's a very searing kind of indictment of Louis C.K. So I think it's really an important essay that really summed up a lot about how I have interacted with art made by people that turned out to be troubling, if that's the way to look at it. I'm still working on reading Maurice by E.M. Forster. I kind of got stalled on that and have been reading some other things, so I'm probably 3/4 of the way done, and I just need to kind of push through and read it, but I just haven't been in the mood to finish it out. It hasn't grabbed me as much as my favorite, A Passage to India, and also Howard's End, which are two very important books to me. And Maurice doesn't seem to have that same pull, but it is still a very interesting story, and I do want to finish it. I am reading Ohio by Stephen Markley, and man, if you're looking for an uplifting view of humanity and American culture, don't look at this book for that, because while it is beautifully written and compelling, and I am so invested in the story and the characters and what's happening, it is a complete and utter indictment of our society and culture, economics. It's a socio-economic novel, and it's heightened, and I feel like it might be overwritten just a tad. The language is a little bit much in certain segments, and I will talk more about that when I actually finish it. I'm about halfway through, not done yet, but it's a very important novel, I think, so it's important. I want to keep going, but it's making me kind of ache every time I read it. I'm also reading Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Madeline Thien, which is a Chinese immigrant story, and I'm not really very far in that either. I think I've only finished about 15 or 20% of that book, and I've kind of gotten stalled because of Ohio. But oh wow, the characters are so good, and I can't wait to get to the end of that and see how it all comes together. I'm just gonna leave it there, and I just wanted to say hi to everyone because I haven't disappeared off the face of the earth. I've just disappeared off my channel for a couple of weeks, and hope you're having a good day. Try and do something fun with family or friends, read something good, and let's just keep going. So I'll talk to you later. Bye. Warmer water.